So Minnesota Governor Tim Walz defended former presidential candidate Kamala Harris for being critical of some Democrats and even of himself in her new book, 107 Days.
Harris was clear in her book that she wasn't too fond of Walz's debate performance against J.D. Vance, writing in part, when Tim fell for it and started nodding and smiling at J.D.'s fake bipartisanship, I moaned to Doug, moaned? What is happening? I told the television screen, you're not there to make friends with the guy who is attacking your running mate.
Now, Walz addressed this during an interview with the news outlet, Minnesota Post. Let's listen.
As far as the book and things like that go, I think she has every right to be critical. I do think I let her down on a couple things. And I warned them, my Minnesota nice thing is, if somebody's being nice to me, I'll be nice to them.
You're talking about the debate with J.D. Vance, where...
Yeah. Walz expanded on how Vance seemingly caught him off guard by being nice. Here's more.
Honestly, we did not prepare for him to be more cordial. The expectation was that he would do the false attacks and do some of that, and they didn't. So I'll give them this, they were well prepared. And the teacher in me, and this is nervous tick or habit that we have when you're a teacher, when someone else is speaking next to you, you instinctively nod and listen and try and listen. And that was viewed as, and the vice president took it that I was agreeing on some of the things that were a personal attack on her, and it wasn't that at all. Because when we're teachers or in any other one, like, that's really interesting. It's dumb as but it's very interesting.
Despite having issues with Walz's performance, however, Harris said she reassured him that the election wouldn't be decided on that debate. She wrote, quote, in choosing Tim, I thought that as a second-term governor and 12-year congressman, he would know what he was getting into. In hindsight, how could anyone?
No. This was a really contentious time and a really serious debate. And you went and said, I'm going to be my nice teacher. Mm-hmm. I'm not accepting this. Mm-hmm. He's the one who said the words like Gestapo, right? We played the soundbite. He's the one who said we're in the worst of times and things like that. Oh. You cannot go to a debate and say...
Oh, you're mad at him for being...
Yes. You can't go to a debate and say, oh, Robbie was being sweet today. Like, are we debating or not? You could like me all you want. We could shake hands after, we can go get a beer. But if we're trying to articulate a point to save the country that we think is nearing its demise by having President Trump be the president again, this is absurd. I was a nice teacher. I went with my Minnesota roots. Even Minnesota voted for Walz to be the next vice president less than they did vote when Biden was on the ticket. So Kamala Walz got less votes in Minnesota than Joe Biden's ticket.
Yeah,
Kamala.
I was never particularly impressed with Walz as a political candidate. I find the whole I'm nice, I'm a teacher kind of shtick a little grating and insincere to me. Yeah. I was not impressed by him. Frankly, I think no matter what Kamala says, the reason she picked him was because she did not want to be overshadowed, which is the exact same calculation that Hillary Clinton made when she picked also a kind of forgettable, not particularly talented person named Tim to be her running mate because she didn't want to be upstaged. She wanted the spotlight on her. Kamala did the same thing, and that was a huge mistake.
I thought
to not pick a popular governor of one of the must-win states. You had Josh Shapiro or Gretchen Whitmer to choose from as your preference.
Or Mark Kelly.
You could make an argument.
Anybody, yeah. I was going
somebody in a swing state. Minnesota's not a swing state.
But I thought Josh Shapiro was the right choice. Obviously, that was up for them to decide. But I also said, you can't go off feelings. I thought that Kamala picked him because she said I went with my gut, and like he was if he really is this nice guy. But elections are not about feeling. It's about tact. It's about tactic. It's about what wins. It's about what states you need to get. Who's going to balance some of your perspective, which they have accomplished over their term. So just the whole strategy. And mind you, her back was against the wall in 107 days. But I think this could have been way more thought out and planned as far as who to choose and why, because you can't cower in a moment like this. Like, oh, he was being nice. Like, that debate made J.D. Vance look very presidential. I can be honest about that. Right. And so when you talk about how Democrats pick people who won't outshine them, well, surely Trump, who's very shiny to most of the world, most people know who he is, picks somebody that's also a star. And J.D. Vance is a star. And you can see by the way he's very outspoken, we know exactly where J.D. Vance is during Trump's entire term. And he's setting himself up for a presidential run. Unlike Kamala was given that opportunity, and unlike J.D. Vance unlike Walz would have been as her vice president. So
100%.
Yeah, we would
totally
agree
with you. How about that? How about that?
Next up in my lens, I'll get into the outrage that exploded after Bad Bunny was announced as the 2026 Super Bowl. You know Bad Bunny, halftime show performer. He's pretending. Stick around.